Hi, welcome back to Crazy Codigo. So, the issue is that A is still sick and she couldn't make this video. But today, it's just you guys and me. And I'm going to teach you something really interesting. Today, we're going to work with something called MongoDB, which is an online database. You can create databases for yourselves, you can create clusters, you can store all your data, which you can later on use in your program, in your Python program. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about MongoDB and then we're going to learn about PyMongo, which is a module in Python that is used to access a MongoDB database. Alright, so this is the site mongodb.com. I'll put it in the link. I'll put the link in the description, not put it in the link. Alright, and basically this is the page that opens up, and you can just start by saying try free. Choose which deployment is best for you. So we're just gonna go with the basic plan. Oops. Alright, so you're gonna have to type a company name, which is optional, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna name it Crazy Codigo. How are you using MongoDB? I'm learning. We're just gonna say we're learning. We're gonna go with wow. That's a lot of stuff. We're gonna go with Crazy Codigo at gmail.com. Our first name is Anne because Anisha and Anjay, that's the name on our Gmail, so I'm going to stick to that name over here. And password. Great, now verify your email. Alright, let's do that. Gmail. Alright, we have the verification email, verify, and any second now. Continue. Alright, done. Get rid of this and welcome. Goodbye. Welcome. Use your account. Okay, so our thing is called Crazy Codigo. We're gonna call the project a test project for now. We want to work with Python and continue. There's two different options. You can pay it on a monthly basis, per hour basis. But for now, since we're just doing a tutorial, depending on how you want to use it, go ahead and pay. I don't really need to pay. I have a very basic project and it gives you like 500 MB of space. So next, you can just use whichever thing is best. But I'm going to go with the default Amazon web server and take up whichever city is closest to you. So for me, it will be Mumbai. All of this is fine. I'm gonna name it test cluster. Alright, create cluster. The rest can just stay the same default. It's really not much to mess with. So once you're here, you need to give it like about 1 to 2 minutes, because what this is doing is it's basically creating a space on an actual physical computer for your database. So it's actually going to take a few minutes. Alright, so we are back and it took about 2 minutes and it's created. So there we go, very pretty. So next you're gonna wanna click on, nope, not that. You're not gonna want to click on that. Sorry. Next, you're going to want to click. I can't speak. Next, you're going to want to click on Browse Collections. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to say add my own data. We're going to put in a database name. We'll just call it test base. I think it has to be one word. No, it doesn't. Test base. And we're gonna name this is a bunch of random fields that my computer has taken up, but yeah, anyway, we're gonna call this data set 1. Okay, A. And you can make it a capped collection, but you really don't need to. Just, whoa, the database name isn't valid. Yeah, okay, probably doesn't take space. Yes, doesn't take a space. Sorry. Okay, so our database is created and we're ready to insert documents into this and everything's ready. Over here, our work on MongoDB, I believe, is done for now. So we're gonna head over to our PyCharm, and as always, I have created a new project for a new tutorial, and we're gonna put in a file. Let's make a new file. Make a new Python file and mongo.py. I don't have to put py because it's a Python file. Alright, mongo.py. That's our beautiful little file. Now, in order to connect with our database on MongoDB to our Python program, we need a module called PyMongo, which we do not have on this interpreter. So if you're working with normal Python or maybe a virtual environment, you're going to want to do the whole pip install situation. But if you're on PyCharm, there's a much easier way to do it. You go to settings, you go to project, you go to project interpreter, and then you simply do a plus. Oh, come on, you don't have an interpreter set. There we go. Set an interpreter. For us, we're using Python 3.8. Here we go. It's got a bunch of stuff already installed because this is from the Crazy Codigo tutorials. But yeah, if you're doing it completely new, you might not have it. Either way, now we're going to go and look for PyMongo. Okay, sorry, to show you what exactly I did. Click on the plus button here and search for PyMongo. This one, the first one, and just let it get the latest version. It's not an issue, and install the package. Alright, package PyMongo installed successfully. Now if you scroll down, you should be able to see it. There it is, PyMongo. Alright, okay, done. So now what we can do is we can import PyMongo. Hey, would you look at that? Pretty simple. But we don't need the entire module, we just need a few things from it. So I'm gonna go from PyMongo, import, waiting for an autofill, Mongo client, right? Done. Now we're gonna want to connect it. So creating the connection, this is what we did. Now we want to connect it. So we're going to go into here and we're going to go into overview and we're going to say connect. Now what you're going to need to do is you need to whitelist an IP address. All right. So I'm just going to add my IP address. Fine. Add IP address. DB user is crazy codigo, and DB password is DB user password. Alright. Rest assured, I will be deleting this database later on, so before I upload the video. So if you think you're gonna mess around with my database, that's not gonna happen. Anyway, you reach this and then you want to connect to your application, and our driver is Python. Version would be 3.12. The MongoDB, the PyMongo version, not the Python version, alright? And you just want to copy this. going to type that in. And the place where it says password, you just want to take that whole thing out and you want to type in your actual password. So I used the sample password that they had, which was DB user password. And that's it. That should pretty much connect it. Right, and now we want to get a database. So we're going to say client, it's list, and which database do we want? We want the test. It's not called data, it's called test base. That's our test database. All right, and there's probably a way of checking how exactly this works, but I'm just going to do run Mongo, and if it does, just gives us an exit code 0, that's it. Nope, exit code 1. What's the issue? Dns Python module. Alright, so you also need another module which I completely forgot about, and it's called Dns Python. I'm gonna grab that same way I got the other one. Install. Alright, package installed. Okay. And now when we run it, I believe it should give us a project code exit. Process finished with exit code 0. That basically means we did manage to connect to our database, which is great. So now everything is done. We can just close this and we're ready. So let's go into our collections and go into dataset A. And right now we don't really have any queries in here. What we would want to do is probably add a few things in here, right? So let's do that. Let's add something. Before we add something, this test database is our base, right? But which collection within that base do we want to go into? That would be dataset A. So let's type out another variable called collection. Collections is a class, so make sure you type collection. And db at dataset A. Isn't that what it's called? Dataset A. Yep. So we're ready to do that. Now everything is in order and we just need to start working. So first off, let's make an entry. All right, let's make an entry. Let's put something into our database. The first thing you want to do is give it an ID. So this is your first field, ID. Okay, the way it works is this takes a dictionary. So this will be your key and the value. The ID could be anything. It could be an integer, it could be a string, it could be a float, it could be anything and everything. I'm just going to go with an integer and I'm going to put 1. And let's think of it like an employee database. So we're going to want to have a name, and put Jayanti Goswami as the name. You know, coolest name on earth, really. Name and salary. I think I deserve a lot of money, so I'm gonna put like 2 lakhs. And we want to put email. Just gonna put a random email. This is not really my email. gmail.com. Alright. That's the entry. This is the entry that we want to put into our database. So how do we actually put it into the database? We're going to say collection dot insert 1, and then we're going to put entry. All right, and that's it. Run that. Exit code 0. Nothing really happens because we didn't really have any print statement, but when you go into your database and you refresh it, There you can see it. ID 1, name Jayanti Goswami, salary, email, thing is now in here. I think that's really cool. So, done. So that's how we insert one entry. You could obviously enter two different things at the same time. You know, have like multiple entries. So I'm gonna just copy this and paste it. We're gonna name this entry 1. We're gonna name this entry 2. I'm gonna change the IDs. And now instead of insert 1, we're gonna say insert many. And then we're gonna make a list in here. Entry 1 and entry 2. That's it. That's how we insert many. And just run that. Oops. Oh, my bad. The error is here. This already exists. So they'll be like, oops, ID is unique, right? Every entry needs to have its own ID. So I'm going to delete this record for now. So again, we're back to an empty database. And now when we run it, there we go. It's exit code 0. Refresh. And see, we got both the entries in here. Hey, A, just so you know, I earn like double of what you make. Anyway, not the point. You get two different entries. That's pretty simple. Alright, and it's not just two. You could like keep making a bunch of them. You know, you can make an entry 3 equal to something, entry 4 equal to something, and then you can put these variables into this list. Now dot, and when you run that, it will just put all of those entries into your database. So that's how it works. Alright, gonna get rid of all this before it hits me with a huge syntax error. Alright, done. Now that we have like two entries in our database, we probably want to mess around with these entries, right? So maybe at some point A wakes up and decides, hey, I want to work more, right? And you know, we give her an increase in salary. So how are we going to do that? We would want to update this particular field, right? So what we're going to say is collection dot update 1, right? And we're going to put the ID first. The ID, as we know, for her is 2. So what happens is when I say update 1, the first list will be used by the program to determine which record do you really want to update. And the first record that matches this criteria will be used in the updation. Now you could use the name or the email, whichever field you want, but when you say update 1, make sure that the field that you're using is a unique one, because otherwise if there are like 3 different fields with the same name and you said update 1, it will only update the first one that it encounters, you know, the one which is like on top of the other two. The other two will not be done. So make sure whatever field you use, either whichever field you use is a unique field, you know, something that is unique to each record, or you know for sure that this field and this value only has one such entry, something like that, right? Now the next thing you want to do is you want to make another bracket, and this one gets a little complicated, so read, right? You want to say $sign set, okay, in another colon, and then you want to make another dictionary, and this is where your real work comes in. So you want to say, since we want to update salary, we're going to say salary and we're going to put in whatever value we want to update it to. So maybe 15 lakhs. I have no idea how many zeros that is. I think, yeah, that's 15 lakhs. All right, I'm good. Oops. And that's it. So run that, exit code 0, and when we refresh this, there we go. Now A earns 15 lakhs. She's got a promotion. She's earning more. Yay. And that's how you update an entry. You could update multiple entries at once. Just look into that method. I'm not going to go into it since it's like the same thing with a slight difference. So I'll put the link to the documentation of PyMongo in the description box below. For the other functions, I recommend that you take a look at those. Right. I will also update all of them onto our website. So if you want, you can take a look at the website as well. Link in description box. Okay, so we know how to put stuff into the database and we know how to update stuff in the database. Now what we want to see is how do we delete stuff from the database? That's a pretty important question, right? So I'm gonna get rid of this. So to delete stuff from the database is equally simple. Alright, you just say delete one, okay, and then you just put a criteria for whichever record you want to delete. So maybe if you want to delete the record which has an ID of 1, right, you just do this, and that's it. That's all you need to do. So what it will do is it will run the entire program. It will find the first record which matches the criteria that you're putting in here, and it will delete that record. So we ran that, exit code 0, refresh, and now you can see the first record is gone, only ID2 Anisha Mukhopadhyay is still there, right? So the Jayanti one is gone now. And so that's it. I think, okay, so fair disclosure, there's a lot of stuff you can do with PyMongo. If you would like for me to go into even more detail, leave a comment. I will make another video. I will make a part 2 to this if you want. For now, you learned how to insert documents, you learned how to update them, and you learned how to delete them. And that's it. Check out all the links in the description box below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.